Let's get it. Scotty A. Smith coming in hot.
All right, guys. So I kind of touched on this briefly on Sunday if you were with us, but I'm going to dive into why you should never, ever, 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 ever want your team to spend money at the running back position. It is the most idiotic decision your franchise could ever make. Running backs eventually, by the time, it's kind of like baseball. I talked about it in baseball. By the time you're paying them, they're already washed. All right. Look at these dudes here. That's 4 of the top 5 running backs. Right now, the top 5 running backs in salary in the league. McCaffrey is 1. Kamara is 2. Zeke is 3. Dalvin Cook 4. And Derrick Henry 5. Okay. Those are the top 5 paid running backs in the league. How are those teams doing? Okay. The Vikings are the only team with a winning record in those 5. And I'm not sure you would correlate their winning record to Dalvin Cook. He's been okay. But guess how many of these 5 top running backs are top 10 in rushing yards this year? 0. 0 of these guys are top 10 in the league in rushing yards. All right, let's jump into average yards per rush because they just, of course, just not getting the ball enough. No, the top average per rush is McCaffrey at 4.7. He ranks 19th. No one else is in the top 25 of these 5 guys. No one else is averaging per rush in the top 25 of the league right now. And you're paying these dudes. You can't pay these dudes. Not to mention, Dalvin Cook, been a little beat up. Alvin Kamara already missed games. We know the history with Christian McCaffrey. Zeke, some people argue, isn't the best running back on his roster. And Derrick Henry is missed half of last year. You're paying a position that is so reliant on the offensive line and what's happening there. Let's look at Jonathan Taylor is not one of the top running backs paid-wise in the league because he's a rookie running back. And he was the surefire after last year. He dominated the league. He was a surefire. And he's been mediocre at best this year. At best. He has not been good. The Colts have been a dumpster fire. That offense has been a dumpster fire. You don't win in the NFL at the running back position. You just don't. The moment your running back gets to free agency, you should say, see you later. I'll draft a 5th rounder who will be just fine. And everyone's like, well, yeah, but these guys could pass catch. McCaffrey has 19 catches for 138 yards. Kamara, 5 catches, 19 yards. Elliott, 5 catches, 27 yards. Cook, 9 catches, 47 yards. And Henry, 8 catches, 88 yards. That's on the season. Those 4 guys outside of McCaffrey don't average 25 receiving yards a game. And none of them, including McCaffrey, are in the top 50 in receiving yards in the NFL. Like these guys are kind of just dudes. And the most productive back has been McCaffrey, and they might be the worst team of the 5. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry to say this, but running backs don't matter in the NFL. And maybe that's putting it blunt, and that's too aggressive. But you don't pay running backs. You shouldn't pay running backs. The moment you're paying high money to running back, like look at the Cowboys. They had to sacrifice so much this offseason. They had to trade Amari Cooper. They lost out on Randy Gregory, although they thought they had him, because they're paying Zeke crazy money. Crazy money. Zeke is averaging 3.8 yards per carry. Okay? He's 36th in the league in average yards per carry. 3.8. That's terrible. That's a terrible number. Oh, but at least he has 5 catches for 27 yards. Which, by the way, he had 32 yards receiving in one of the 4 games. So in the other 3, he has negative 5 yards receiving in the other 3 games combined. It's just stupid. How do people not see this? And everyone's like, Jonathan Taylor's the Broncos are going to win on Thursday because Jonathan Taylor's out. It doesn't matter. Your offensive line is what matters. Yes, if your offensive line is great, you want a running back that can make guy miss on the second level. but it really doesn't matter until you get to the second level or if you have vision in the first level. But it's inconsequential because the passing game is what wins. Defense and pressure from the edges and having elite corners and secondary is what wins. Running plays are just to pause the defense for a second. Make them not sell out on pass rush. That's literally what running is in the NFL these days. Tell me I'm wrong. You can tell me I'm lying. But to pay the running back position anything more than like $6 to $7 million a year, which is a low number in the NFL, to me is wildly inappropriate and crazy. Because they don't produce, they get hurt, they're not the same player, and they're not difference makers. They're just not. You can love them. You can love them on your fantasy team, although you hate all the high fantasy draft picks you took at running back this year because they've all been garbage. Like the guys at the top are like Cordell Patterson, who's going to be hurt this week as well. But it doesn't, like, everyone gets hurt at running back. Stop spending money at running back GMs. Don't let them hold leverage over you. If they want to leave, let them leave. You're better off. You'll get a draft pick. When they get high money somewhere else, you'll get a third round comp pick the next year. And I guarantee you could pick a running back right then with that pick that saves you money and will be just as productive 9 times out of 10, if not more. SCG. Nick Chubb ain't garbage. He's number 1. Yeah, there's a reason I only went to the top 5. He's number 6, but I don't want to dilute this. So stop paying your running backs. Learn a lesson or two, GMs, from me, Scotty A. Smith.
Let's go. Yeah, no, it's true. The running back position has been trending downwards for a while now. I mean, this it's a throwing league. Look at this. All right, so I'm throwing this up on my fantasy thing here, and this is according to Yahoo, right? So preseason rank currently. Fantasy points. If we're just taking fantasy points into it, because obviously a lot of people can associate fantasy with, production, right? Because you have a lot of fantasy players.
Yeah. I lived in reality there. You jumped to the fantasy side. I like it.
Let's get two perspectives here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of the top 15 fantasy point scores in the running back position. 2 were top 10 preseason ranked. Nick Chubb was preseason ranked 18th. He's number 1. Then you got Saquon, who obviously was preseason ranked very, very high. Jamal Williams, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Austin Eckler was outside of the top 10. He was 12th. Derrick Henry was 21st. Miles Sanders, 54th. Josh Jacobs, 49th. Cordell Patterson, 63. Aaron Jones was 17th. James Robinson from Jacksonville, 45th. Khalil Herbert, Chicago, 67th. Damian Pierce, 75th. Damian Harris, 109th. These are guys that are outscoring. I mean, there's only 2 guys pre-ranked top 10 that are any good. That are in this list with all of these guys that aren't even in the top 10, not even close in some cases. But that just tells you how far the running back position has fallen off, and it's been this way for
way too long for GMs to not figure it out yet. It's been close to a decade that I feel like it's fallen off. Rec is like, Eckler got a ton of hype this year, and I have no clue why. Eckler is leading running backs in receiving yards this year, and finally got off the schneid with a ton of touchdowns against Houston. But before that, he was trash, and he's up there because he's gonna get a lot of dump offs from Herbert. That's why he's there. But does that make him elite? Can another running back not be there to just get dump offs and run a little bit? I don't think Eckler. When you look at Eckler run the ball, I don't see a dynamic back that we've just never seen, a generational back that's so good. He's mid. It's about opportunity. It's like he gets a lot of opportunities, especially in the passing game.
Yeah.
It's kind of what McCaffrey does. I think McCaffrey's better than Eckler, quite frankly. McCaffrey would be better if he could actually get in the end zone, but it's hard to get in the end zone when your quarterback is garbage.
But yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you. There's a lot of ways you can get running backs through free agency, through draft that can fill in. Javonte Williams is a great example for the Broncos. Obviously, he got hurt, so that's really unfortunate. But I mean, you can strike gold on a guy that you don't have to pay a ton of money to, and you can get a lot of production from without having to go out and spend money on guys that, like, you know, again, how are these teams doing in the grand scheme of things? Not spectacular. Dallas and Minnesota are the only two that have winning records, and then even Dallas, you can say
Dallas
Dallas is. I mean, they're paying
not because of Zeke,
not because of Zeke, not because of the guy they're paying. So even though they are winning games, it's not. It's in spite of Zeke. In spite of Zeke, yeah, exactly. So that's where you got to be careful, and that's why if you're a franchise that goes out and pays a bunch of money, you should probably be a little worried if running back is one of your highest paid players on your roster and you're dedicating a lot of resources towards the running back position, because you can get a lot of production from guys for half to a third of the price, and it's a throwing league anyway. It's a passing league anyway. Yep. So why are we doing this? Love it, Scotty.
What do we got? Broncos, that doesn't add up. #math. Reckoning the math is lying on running backs. Math isn't real. Math is real, damn it. Get me fired up. Wreck with Swift injured. My best fantasy running back has been Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was a steal. Yeah, but Clyde Edwards has been very reliant on touchdowns, which I don't think he'll continue to get that many scores. But he's been good. He's been fine. I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to get more carries as we move forward, and Jerick McKinnon, so it's still a three-headed monster in Kansas City. Cuban, speaking of Colorado halfbacks, how is Philip Lindsay going to go do against Denver? He might get some touches tomorrow, Chris.
Might get a couple. Maybe a DFS.
I know his uncle. I know his uncle a little bit. Really nice guy, really great guy. So I root for Philip Lindsay, but
local guy.
Local CU boy, played at Denver. I mean, undrafted with Denver Broncos, had some good seasons, a couple good seasons, but has not been good recently. I don't have high expectations. Denver, I think, is going to make a point to. They were embarrassed on the ground last week against the Raiders. I think they're going to make a point to make sure they don't get embarrassed on the ground again. And quite frankly, they should sell it on the run because Matt Ryan can't throw anymore.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. Tomorrow